Tino Ali, and you're watching GFG TV.
West, man. We back here with GFG TV Season 8.
Season 8?
Season 8 is been a long time, man.
Out here.
How we feeling, man? Who we got in the building today?
Man, what's happening? It's your boy Tino Ali. I'm here, GFG TV, Big Ray West, Block Boy in the building. You know what time it is?
We appreciate having you, man. Thank you for sitting down with us today.
Appreciate you having me. It's been a long time overdue.
It has. You know, we have known each other for a little while now. We've shot some music videos.
Yeah.
We have gotten to know you as a person, and today everybody else gets to find out. We appreciate you sitting down with us.
All right.
So, when did you start doing hip hop here? Was it in the 80s, early 90s?
Late 80s, 88. You know what I mean?
Talk about the scene then.
Shit crazy. Started off really in the Smoky Basement. DJ Fredge, precursor to when they was working with Corey D, working on his demo tape, Something Funky to Listen To. My brother Marco, they used to break dance and stuff back then. Be watching Breaking, Turbo and Ozone and all that. They be out
Electric
there with,
Boogaloo.
you know what I mean? They be out there with the cardboard, you know what I'm saying? They breaking, doing all that. And I just always thought that was cool. And I was a big Michael Jackson fan, wrote poetry, wanted to sing. So they had contests where you would win. And, you know, my mom was a DJ at KSO Radio. My step pops, he's in the Iowa Blues Hall of Fame, Harlan Thomas. He set me down and was like, yo, you could do something with this. So they got me in a contest. I won, got up there. The crowd was, you know, clapping for me. You know how they say you caught the bug or whatever? I caught it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. You know what I mean? And then from then, be in the studio with them, watching Corey D record Something Funky to Listen To, watching DJ Fredge and them cutting, scratching, my brother Marco over there trying to make beats. It just was always around.
You said something about the Smoky Basement. That's an actual place or a name of a studio?
No, it was a place. It was a place. It was over on Allison.
Okay.
Yeah, in the hood, Smoky Basement. DJ Fredge house.
Okay.
Shout out, matter of fact, I gotta say this. I'm gonna say DJ Fredge a lot, but he is no longer DJ Fredge. He's actually a reverend now. He's Reverend Virgil Woods out in Gary, Indiana. Got a real nice church out there and all that. Shout out to Reverend Woods, but for these purposes, we're gonna talk about DJ Fredge. He used to have inner city music up there in the hood or whatever. You know what I mean? So coming up under them, I seen a lot. I always got to get the music early. You know what I mean? Because music used to come out new release Tuesdays. So we up at inner city music, stocking, you know, whatever, helping them with that, and the music gets there on Friday. You know, so, you know, he on the store, he gonna have one. Bro might pass it to bro. We got cassette tapes back then, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take my little toilet paper and put it in the tops of a cassette that might be something else. I ain't got no blanks, but I'm about to record over this right here because we got the new Wu-Tang, or we got the new Nas, or the new Pac, or whatever, the new Face, the new Ghetto Boys early. So it's always been around that, you know what I mean? And in the 80s, the scene was just building. And I'm a kid, but I'm seeing all this. So then you go Something Funky to Listen To, drop 91, 92. After that, they working on the Blunt Session, Corey D album, and he had the city gassed for him. You know, they like, hey, we support him. They shooting videos. He go to BET. You know, we think it's finna happen. And it did, slightly.
So back in that era when you were saying they were recording the Corey D albums, was there like, what about the local hip hop shows? Was rappers throwing hip hop shows and motherfuckers coming out like they do nowadays? Or was those type of shows really not born yet?
Not really. There was talent contests. Brothers Incorporated used to perform a lot. That was RDS, Rontez, and them. Shout out to bro and them. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Brothers Incorporated. They go all the way back.
RDS.
Yeah, they go all the way back, man. Brothers Incorporated was their group. You know what I mean? And there wasn't a lot of rappers. You know what I mean? Especially, and as far as kids doing it, might have been me, Thule, Smooth and them was young, rapping, whatever. But you know, it was like
shout out to
supposed to be Bow Wow. Before Bow Wow, you know, we was kids like that, you know what I'm saying, real young. But I was rapping about the streets because I was young in the streets like that. I grew up in a neighborhood where it was notoriously violent in a notoriously violent time, and I'm in the middle of that. Like, I'm right there. So I rap about what I see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got, there's guys that super lyrical and all that, and I could do all that too, but I'm more about what you can relate to. You know what I mean? So I used to talk about what I saw.
Absolutely.
And that didn't always sit well with people when you 12 and 13. You know what I mean? They used to tell me all the time, you can't say that. You can't rap like that. You know what I mean? And I would open up for them, and when Blunt Session came out and all that, and they're in the club and we're doing all that, I'm in that club too. But they can't put me on camera because I'm 14. I'm in here, I'm in the corner. I ain't supposed to be in here. They let me perform, open up for him. And he had a 4 or 5 year run where they really spent big money and did all that with the Crazy Cowboys, and even his last album, I think it was Assed Out or something. Like he always would try to reach back and educate me. He's the one who taught me you should learn the business. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother story, because when you learn the business side of it, you be figuring out as an artist, you be like, damn, I was doing the wrong thing the whole time. Like, he get paid last. Like, that's why, you know what I mean? That's why it was always about learning and being independent. You know what I mean? I learned that real early. I learned that the most from watching those guys help build that scene, even as an independent record store. You know what I mean? I got to sit around and watch a lot of that. So that's a long answer to the story, to the question, but that's it.
Nice. Jumping right into your discography, you started in obviously a lot earlier than when you put out your first solo project.
Right.
But when you did finally come to your solo project in '99, Money Motivated, can you tell us a little bit what was about how that feeling was going into that?
I met Bo as a young kid in talent contests. He was a singer. He was in a group called Forte, and they sang. And he remembered me, Charles Lovelady reintroduced me into Bo, into the launch pad and all that. I used to stay in the corner, stay in the hood, be rapping, and Charles Lovelady pulled up and he was playing the tape of himself rapping. I didn't even know he rapped. And he was calling himself C Love and all that. And he was like, and it was decent. And he was like, man, my cousin got a studio, man. You need to go over there. It's on the east side. I said, man, this time I was so in love with my hood, my neighborhood, and my block. I ain't going over there, bro. I'm over here. And he, no, you need to go over there. You need to go over there. So I go over there. And there's some guys from my neighborhood that I know over there, and there's some guys from the east side that I'm cool with that go over there. This was like a melting pot. There was all type of people over there, and it was like the Dungeon, for the Dungeon family and Outkast or something down there. It was literally that much talent sitting up in that room like that. And so we go over there, and he's like, "Hey man, you wanna join what we doing?" And I'm like, "I'm down with it." He had this thing called House of Representatives, but I say, I gotta do my own thing. We gonna partner, you know what I'm saying? So we partnered up early, and I spend my own. He offer you studio time. I give you discount rate, this, that, and the third. And I just want them to always pay my own way. Like, there's some people that be over there and they may not have the finances to cover their stuff. So when it's time to put their project out or do something, they don't really get to keep their bread and all that other shit. I'm not doing that. I got some money on this. We'll partner up. Excuse me. So I buy the beats from him, and I freestyled the whole album because I wasn't really always a songwriter per se. I could write raps, but I didn't understand how to write songs. So I go in there and just freestyle. And it came out decent. Blew back, went crazy. Like, everybody loved that song. You know what I mean? It was a song that I really wasn't talking street stuff on. I was talking about partying and hanging out. And for the people who was used to me battle rapping and doing all that on the corners, it was weird to them, but the girls liked it. And so I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. So,
what were some of the features on that album?
I had Nicky Knuckles on there. Rest in peace, Nicky Knuckles. Freestyle extraordinaire. Let's see. I had Wiz on there. He was singing. I think I got Ball on there singing. I might put that back out. It's 27 years old. I might put it back out. You know what I mean? We sold some CDs of it. Back when you had to press up your own CDs and pay for your own ink and pay them in to print them and press them. And
absolutely,
you had to pay for everything.
Yeah. Well, said that brings us into my era. You know what I'm saying? The local legends, man. Ooh. Tell us about what the local legends, who they are, you know what I'm saying? Who are all the original members, and what is the idea behind local legends, man?
Okay. Second album I put out was a solo album called Local Legend. I'm running around selling it. I go to the studio. I'm trying to sell it to my man. They at Cardi's house, and he got a studio. He got a studio in the basement. And there's Mike over there. There's Craig over there, CG Smitty, and Rayshawn or Ledge. So they over there. They working on music.
Shout out all the guys.
Shout out to all the guys. And so I said, okay, cool. I'm listening to it and I like what they doing. They buy the CDs. We pop my album in and they like it. They say, man, Chris, man, this is dope, man. We should do a song together real quick. Man, I ain't on nothing. Come on, let's do it. We speed demon through the song. Bow, drop it. Neighborhood go crazy. And he said, man, we should make a group. And I said, okay, I'm down with it, but there's one more person I gotta go get. And I have my childhood friend Tuli who goes crazy, so I said we go get him. So it was Craig's idea to do it. Craig is the glue. Shout out CG Smitty. We sat down, made this record, and this record went crazy in the city. Like, you know what I'm saying? We pressed up 1,000 CDs at the time, and 1,000 was a benchmark for something. The guys would press 1,000 CDs up, couldn't give them away. You know what I'm saying? We had 1,000 of them and was selling them for $10 a piece.
Hello.
And it's going. And man, it turned into like a cult-like following, man, where, you know, we had the guy who had brought me to the launch pad ended up dying. Charles Lovelady ended up dying in the club. Bouncers choked him out, killed him. You know what I'm saying? Did him bogus. And while I'm finishing my solo album up, the guy comes into the studio beating on the door telling us how they just killed Charles at the club or whatever. And that always stuck with me. So one of the things we had did was we made an anthem against security whooping guys in the club called Fight in the Club. We go fuck the clubs up. We go tear the clubs up. See, security don't touch none of our guys in there. We pounding them out. I'm a little guy, but you know, I spent some time learning some things too. So, you know, they having bad nights fucking with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just going up. And I think what that did is that helped us a lot, but it also hurt us because there would be guys, promoters wouldn't want to book us. They'd be like, man, the Fight in the Club guys, oh no, they can't come there, tear shit up. We can't have that. So we had to fall back on that and actually learn the business, get cool with the DJs, be cool with the promoters. And I think what made that whole thing so successful between myself, Tuli, CG, MJ, Orledge, is that we were all from different neighborhoods. It's not like we all grew up together. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? We from different neighborhoods, different sections, some of us from different sets. And like I said, even if you think I'm the worst guy ever rapping, Tuli might be your favorite and he from your neighborhood or he from your set and you crazy about him. Or even if you think, you know, whoever's the worst one. So there was something for everybody, you know what I mean? And that turned into like a cult-like following to where we end up learning how to write songs, going through the recording process together faster, spending more time in pre-production because you got a guy who want to charge you $40-$50 an hour. So what we do is we gang up at the crib, we all write, spend a whole bunch of time writing together, knocking it out, spend mega time in pre-production, and then we go to the studio and there's 4 or 5 of us and we knocking songs out in 27 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So where the engineers and the studio owners is starting to come back and they saying, hey man, y'all work too fast and we're gonna have to start charging y'all by the song because and then that turns into, well, let's just partner together and let's just do this and it worked really well. We did really good for ourselves with our whole. We had a 6-year run where if there was any concert coming here, we were like, you could probably guarantee we were gonna be opening up right before the headliner comes on or whatever. Like, we stayed in there and never paid. We never paid for shows. We never paid for play. We never did the take these tickets, payola game and all that. No, we never did none of that. We showing up 10 deep. There's a bunch of us, you know what I'm saying? Because it's 5 rappers, they girls, couple homies, homeboy security. We're going to get there early before sound check and all that because, you know, we want to be able to be in there and be safe. So we're getting there early. And man, we had a lot of fun doing that. You know what I mean? But I learned so much business-wise going through that whole era with those guys.
Okay, so before we move on from the legends, name say the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of each member. So we're gonna go down the legends list, like MJ. What's the first thing that comes to your mind, and then et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
let's do it.
I'm gonna let you start with it. You know what I'm saying?
MJ, talented. R-Ledge, fly.
Right.
CG Smitty, glue.
I like that.
Tuli is an enigma. And myself, I guess I would be like Duck in the 5 Heartbeats or whatever. You know what I mean? I would be like that guy. You know what I mean? Like visionary. You say it that way. Because I will always see things.
Moving on to Hold My Own, came out in 2007. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
First album I did on my own without the launch pad. That was me, you know, I did it with myself and Darryl and my brother Marco. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to my brother Ro. Ro at the time was a teenager. Played basketball with my nephew. I was fresh out. He's like, yo, man, I got these beats. Check me out. We did the whole album, and it's amazing. My son right now is going through my catalog, finding old records that he want to take the beats and update. You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, and it's crazy. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So, and the production on that is timeless. Pressed it up, sold a little bit of it, and it wasn't. It was me finding my voice on that album. It's when I start trying different styles, different formats, working with different melodies, because for so long I had just rapped one way, working with just one producer with one type of beat. And then working with Ro and my brother, it changed the sound. You know what I mean? Definitely.
What was your favorite track off that
album? Hold My Own, the intro.
What caused the separation with Launchpad?
Oh, we didn't separate. I'm still down with Bo. Two bulls can't always be in the same yard. You know what I'm saying? Like we can have yards by each other, but we can't just always be in the same yard. And Bo's a good guy. Bo taught me a lot, but eventually I just wanted to hold my own. I'm you know what I mean? I was already over here with you, you know, working with you, doing things. He taking me traveling, showing me things and all that. And it just was like eventually, you know, you can be my big brother, but sometimes little bro gotta go get his own. You know what I mean? So it just was one of those things. But I'm still down with Bo. Shout out to the Launchpad, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But it's Block Boy over here.
For sure. What about Boulevard of Broken Dreams in 2010?
Ooh, that was an album where I was working with Hit 'em Up Squad, Shalik Berry, chasing these guys. Ray Cash out from Cleveland sent some beats in for that. We were trying to get a deal at this time, so this is where we're shopping the project, trying to get me a deal. We had some offers on the table. They were slave deals. At the time, I had some funding of my own, and the numbers that they was talking wasn't even talking about what I had came to Atlanta with. And I was just like, nah, I'm good. We're not doing that. So, and it took some time for me to get the rights back to that project, but I got the rights back and eventually put it back out on streaming services years later. Like, I had to go through some crazy shit. It got wild to get the releases for that music and stuff, but yeah. It's out though. You can go listen to it now.
When would you say you started that project compared to when it actually released?
Man, I started it in 2009, 2010. It was recorded down in Atlanta. Spent a lot of time down there. And what that album is, I had 5 beats from these guys, and they were trying to charge me like $8,000 a beat because they had placements and all this. And I didn't understand the business at the time. And these guys had walked me into Upfront Megatainment with this guy named John Thompson. He did the 1 Million Strong, One Nation album, the Muslim album back in the day. And he had some numbers on the table for us, and it just was so ridiculously disrespectful that I just was like, we're not doing it. And I couldn't believe that at the time I was hanging out with these guys, I didn't realize that they was charging me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I was there with you making this beat. Like, I kind of helped you with it. What you mean is $8,000? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought they was taxing me. I thought you supposed to be my guys. I don't believe in trying to eat off the homies like that. You know what I'm saying? We can bust moves together, but to try to skim off the top from you and backdoor you and act like I'm walking you into a good deal, here you up. Like, everybody at that table was gonna get more money than me. And I was like, and I done paid my own way down here. I done bought my own tickets. I done paid for your way to come. You know what I mean? I done did it. No, we're not doing that. I walked up out of there. You know what I mean? And we had some people that down in Atlanta who sent their lawyers to help us because, you know, you might have would have took it. But I started working on it in 2010, and it didn't come out till 2019. It was 10 years. I had a 10-year clause in it. I had signed a management deal, and it was 1 year, and then he had another year that he could option it. And I didn't understand the option process. And I had took that project and had start shopping it to people. And I had given it to this guy named G.I. He was down here with Young Buck, and then he was Young Buck's road manager or something at the time. He had worked with Strange Music before too. And I had given it to him, and he had liked it and had put us on the show and had given me his contact information. And I had shot back to some of the producers because the song that they wanted, guys wanted to buy the song. And I need to get the rights and everything secured to the actual song because I was going to sell the song. And man, this fool picked up the option, man, on the contract and got to calling people and blocking shit. It was like, yeah, that's my artist, that's my song, that's my da-da-da. Man, and yeah, I learned a lot that time too.
So Block Boy, 2012, was that done in the midst of what was going on with the other album?
That's after it, because I had got out that deal. And I had got mad, and I was like, man, I'm going back to doing all the music I want to do the way I want to do it. And that's when I really launched my own company. That's when I went and got the LLC. That's when we got the nonprofit started. That's when we got everything actually situated. And I just got so mad that people that I thought was my guys was trying to hustle me like that. So what I did is I went back to the camp. I went back and got all the camp. I said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lock in. We're going to do it just us. And I just went in and made a whole street album. That's one of my, because on the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, it's so polished. They had me working with different producers, singers coming in, you know, they overproducing it. It's sounding real Best Buy-ish, you know what I'm saying? Instead of in the hood where I come from, you know, they had cleaned it up and really polished it. And it was fun, but it just maybe not really being creatively all my own input in there because I could really do any type of record. So I'm working with this and they say, hey, yo, we need this type of record. All right, let's do it. Oh, we need a radio record. Let's do it. Oh, we need a club record. All right, let's do it. Oh, we need a love song. Let's do it. And with that Block Boy album, I just went back to the roots. I went back and got Roe, went back and got my brother, went and got Mars Mayfield to his beats. I went and got him. And I was like, this is just what we're doing. And man, that one went crazy. The stuff that album birthed is 14, 15 years later, and we still building off of that one project and stuck to the formula. It did really good.
That sounds like what can you tell us about 10 Toes Down? And it seems like a big break in between projects right there too.
As far as solo projects, it is. But you know, in between those projects, I always had group albums that I was working on. So sure. It alternated. But I had took a break. I got frustrated with music, and we started doing things in the community, things with the nonprofit, things about really falling back from music. And I came home, and I got in some trouble. I had to sit down for a minute. I came home, and my son had got real into music. He'd been rapping since he was a kid, you know what I mean? I used to always tell him, keep working, keep writing, get better. And he got better. And I come home and we did a song. And we went up to Forte Studios up in Boone, like rented it out, spent some bread, just had a lot of fun up there, put him in the big studio. And it felt good again. I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, man, you ever gonna do an album again? You gonna write again? You gonna rap again? I was like, I'm trying to build the company. We working on Smitty's albums. You know, Smitty's killing it. He's coming through here. doing his interviews. He's working with guys in the city. He's building himself as a solo artist, and we just like, yo, let's push this. So we're doing that. You come shoot the video. You shot the pre-roll video and all that. You know what I'm saying? So shot a couple of the videos from that because you did the storytelling. Yeah, we did storytelling too.
That's one of my favorite tracks. I literally listen to that track, I think, daily.
Love the video.
I rock that video in the morning.
You shot that video 3 times.
Yeah.
We did. We had to shoot because we shot it and then reshot it and did. So he definitely did his thing on that. But so I get in on for 10 Toes Down. Once again, shout out Ro, rest in peace. And Ro ends up sending me. I told him, I said, man, I think I'm gonna do an album again. And he sent me this beat. He said, man, I'm gonna cook a beat up right now and throw the verse on it, bro, and send it to you. And it was H-Town. And he sent it to me, and it was dope. And I jumped on it real fast. And I told Smitty, because CG had been telling me too, G, I want you to do an album again. You got to, man. You ain't did nothing in 10 years. What's up? I said, man, nah, I ain't gonna do it. So, you know, he's the glue guy. So when he said, come on, man, you gotta do it. Let's do it, man. He's like, I'm gonna get in there with you. I said, okay, let's do it. And so we knocked that record out, and it just started going so fast. And I had put it out. Put a couple singles out. I put out Run It Up and Seasoned, and they did well. And I'm like, damn, I'm trying to quit. And with the streaming services and stuff, it's popping now more than when we was selling CDs. I'm looking at the streams go through the roof. I'm like, oh, okay, there's an appetite for this still. So it was like, all right, bet. And it almost was out of necessity because with our deal, like, we don't have a deal to where you go pay like a distro kid to release your music. Like, we actually have a deal where they front us money and give us marketing dollars, and you have to turn projects in. And we were at the end of our deal, and at the risk of losing the deal, if you got to turn the project in, and or we may not re-up with you. And those marketing dollars and the stuff that comes in handy when you're a true independent, because it doesn't come out your pocket per se. It comes off the back end with the streams, with the sales, with the merch, whatever you're doing through them. And so it was almost out of necessity because I didn't have the project to turn in. I was like, well, shit, I got to go in and knock it out. And I went in and fell in love with music again, man, and said, uh-oh, let's go.
Hell yeah.
So that was back to back with Decisions coming right after that. You were in the zone. And you put out another album. Let's talk about that. You were motivated coming right out of 10 Toes Down, right into Decisions. Was it a different style album? Was it motivated by 10 Toes Down, or do you think that you were just in the zone of music at that time?
I was in the creative zone. It's a Decision is a conceptual album. Decisions is a whole album being told from a vantage point of me being in that environment that I grew up in, seeing a whole lot of different things as far as in the streets. You know what I mean? It's like a conceptual type album.
Did we film a solo for that?
You did the video to Run It Up on. You did Run It Up on 10 Toes Down, and yeah, you did Run It Up because everything else that you did after that was on T-Baby stuff.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we did do that. I didn't. Decisions is my favorite album, and it's probably got the most plays and streams and downloads and all that. But at this point in my career, you know, it was one of the decisions was made because a lot of the guys kept coming to me and was like, man, we want to 10 Toes Down was polished and you sounding real, like, you know, you sounding adultish and grown and I like it. He's like, but where's that? You didn't do no street. You didn't give us that round. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give y'all one whole album of that. And then don't ever ask me to make them records like that no more. You know, so what I did is I went and it's a dark album. It took me to a space that even writing that album and going through it forced me to deal with certain stuff that maybe I may not have even dealt with mentally. You know what I mean? So it took me to a different place. It's my favorite solo album by far because it was therapeutic just even addressing all that. You know what I mean? It's I didn't do no visuals for it just yet, but there's some records on there that need visuals.
So we covered all the solo projects, you know what I'm saying? Let's jump into the group and the duo projects, man. Let's get into Metro's Most Wanted by the Local Legends in 2004. That was kind of a big time for us.
Oh, yes. Local Legends, Metro's Most Wanted. First group album. Groundbreaking, historical. Got anthems on there. Fighting in the Club, Break Up, I Got Dreams, Hannibal Lecter, Dice Game. It's got a lot of songs. And a lot of those records are available right now on streaming. Like I put out a greatest hits project for everybody who, because those songs came out on CDs. And if there's people who still got those CDs 22 years later right now, I still got the CD. They post it on Throwback Thursdays. It tickles me. I love it. But there were still 5 of us then. We pressed up 1,000 CDs of that at the time. You know what I mean? And,
you went through?
We did it. We went through Office Max.
Office Max, yeah.
Office Max on Ingersoll would do everything at the time for you, and they taxed us when we did it. And they had they would print the ink right. They would print it right on the CDs. Couldn't get it wet though because the whole front of the CD would blur off. You know what I mean? We do the inserts for us, and we went through there, and we sold over 1,000 of them because we printed the second run of them up too. The second run, we didn't go through them though. We was like, so you might got the second run that's just a silver one with the insert on it. We went because they was taxing, man, and we was selling them for $10. We was selling them for $10 a piece, man. They had the little jewel cases on it, and we should have went through disc makers at the time, but we just didn't. We was thirsty. Let's do it here. Print it up ourselves. Do everything yourself. Yeah, we did that.
So you guys did Metro's Most Wanted and then followed it up pretty soon after with Respect It or Check It.
Still 5 of us on Respect It or Check It. They were recorded basically back to back. Boom, 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 boom. And that one was, Metro's Most Wanted is all Des Moines producers. Like, and there's nobody outside of the camp that produced on that album. And Respect It or Check It was at the time we had started learning how to get on the internet and link with people and link with other producers, or maybe go to a beat store and download or buy or lease. And so Respect It or Check It was us actually going into digital, because Metro's Most Wanted was recorded still on an analog. Computers were still in, but I didn't know how to run the programs at the time. And so if I was in there recording as part of the discounted rates, I'd have to kind of run the sessions. Well, I kind of only knew how to run that board, you know what I mean? So that still was that was recorded on analog. Respect It or Check It was recorded entirely on a computer. So that was actually the full transition. That's 06, you know what I'm saying? Like that's 20 years ago. I mean, so yeah, that was the first one.
So was those first 2 projects, what label was those on? Or
everything has always come out independently. With we called it Local Legend Records back then.
Okay, for sure.
You know what I mean? And everything came out on that. Even stuff that came out on Launchpad. If you look at my first album, it says Local Legend Records / Launchpad.
Absolutely.
I always had my own idea of having my own. It was important to me.
So let's talk Double L in 2009.
Ooh, that's when we was like, hey, we're trying to get a deal. Let's not call ourselves Local Legends no more. We were almost trying to rebrand it to Double L. It didn't work. It was still Local Legends. Even right now, 26 years, it's 26 years. It was like Local Legend, and I still, you know what I mean? And that really shows me the impact that it had. So I always show, look, yeah, I'm still a Local Legend. It's still that, you know what I'm saying? Even because the board of Block Boy Entertainment, the nonprofit, that entire board is all the Local Legends. So we still started that company together. Still all the guys, we are still all partners, even within the nonprofit section of Block Boy. Block Boy Records is something totally different, and Block Boy Media is my son and them's company. So it all comes from that Local Legend tree. So that's the foundation that it all was built up off of. From the Smoky Basement, from the Launchpad, the Local Legends, the Block Boy, to, you know what I mean? It's always been a building process. We got the roof on the house at this point, though. Yeah.
So was there ever a time where people were calling you, saying Local Legends? Was it ever irritating? Like, look, man, we told you that ain't the name no more. Or were you always receptive to it?
No, I'm always receptive to it, because it's always love. Especially because that lets me know that you've been rocking with me for that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always respect that. I'm always love it. But I will remind you, we in 196 different countries now. We stopped being local a long time ago.
Talk your shit.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying.
So Double L 2009, followed up by Metro's Most Wanted 2, 2010.
Metro's Most Wanted 2, 2010. My favorite local legend album. It's polished, we're grown, we talking real adult on it. We're back to our roots with just our original producers, no outside guys. Ro and Tez did the whole album. And at that point though, it's like everybody started really wanting to focus on their solo stuff real hard. And it's like, hey, I was a solo artist already. I've already put my solo albums out. At that point, it was like, this is where we're gonna start focusing on building everybody's solo. Because everybody had always gave so much to making sure the group or supporting my project or whatever project we put out, everybody jumps behind that one project, you know what I'm saying? So it's always a collective when we do albums. Even if it's my album, I might have had all the guys in there helping me with it. That's why they're always all on it, you know what I mean? So yeah, but at that point it was, I don't want to say we broke up because, you know, they're still my brothers for life, but at that point it was like, hey, how many more of these do we really need to do? So yeah, so that even going in making that album, we knew that's kind of where, you know, we came in on Metro's Wanted and we left with it on part 2. That was the mindset going in and making it.
What was your favorite records on Most Wanted 2?
100, Pose 2.
Everybody rapped on those, or
yeah, yep. I'm telling you, man. Back then, you know, and there's 4 of us, and we doing 16 bars, and so songs are 4.5 minutes long. You know what I'm saying? Like songs ain't long like that no more. But back then, yeah, 100. To Let 'Em Know, Ro did that, and there's another one. I'll Be Out Here Every Day. That's one of my favorite records on there.
And for the listeners that are paying attention, you said 4, and that went from 5. Who's missing?
Mike went and started his own label, and Mike never really wanted to rap. He always wanted to be a behind the scenes guy. But Craig, being the glue guy, would always put the battery in his bag and say, "Come on, man, Mike, you dope. You know the Bricks love hearing you. You talk that shit, going to do it." But Mike just never really wanted to be a full group out there like that anyway. You know what I mean? He just and we all knew that. So. Excuse me, he started Purple House, and it still was all love. He was at the pre-rolls and at the video and doing all that. But Mike just started living a different life and going a different way and doing different things. And you know, you can love your brothers from a distance, and it's still love, but it's just very distant.
When the last time you talked to Mike?
Maybe the pre-rolls video shoot. So was that 2019?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
2020.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Check that video out on YouTube though.
Oh, it's there. Yep.
It's fire.
Fire. He did that.
That's a fun video.
He did that. Yep.
What can you tell us about Grown Man Music in 2011?
Me and Tuli did that. Dual project. Smooth's on there too. Rose on there. Of course, the legends are on there. I might put that out on streaming services because that didn't come out on the internet either. We put that out as a CD, and it did good. Had fun with it. Got the song Block Boy on there, produced by Straight Vodka, Tremaine. Tremaine did that. He did that. That's my favorite record on that whole entire album because when we did that song, it got such good response that I was like, oh, that's what we're gonna call the label. You know what I mean? Like I called my next album that, and I called my next solo album Block Boy, and we named the label that. And Block Boy is an acronym for Building Lives of Quality Based on Integrity.
Hello.
That's just what it is. So.
That's hard. I like that
yes,
acronym.
Yes, it is.
So, Grown Man Music in 2011 jumped to 2026.
That's a big pause too for group projects.
Ooh, well, see, there wasn't no more group. Wasn't no more Local Legends as a group. You know, that's dead. So when I did Grown Man Music with Tuli, that's a duo, childhood friend, 2 child prodigies, long overdue album. We went in, locked in. And then Mob is my favorite album of my whole entire career. Off every record I ever did, it is my favorite album.
2026, by the way. I did say that right.
2026.
Go check it out.
Just came out. This album is spearheaded by my sons. completely. I got a chance to just go along for the ride on this one. Just rap. I don't gotta, one of my sons are doing the engineer. I got another one recording. I got an 11-year-old who makes beats. His beats are on the album. He's rapping on the album. My son T-Baby, super creative, super talented. He basically A&R'd. I trust his ear for music so well because of his projects and how, like, I can see the numbers, I see the audience, I can watch the retention, I can see it for real. Because we don't use bots. We got a thing called Stream Safe within our deal. You can't use bots. They'll kick you out. So I'll take my 36 views, or I'll take my 1,000 streams, or I'll take my whatever they are. I know those are actually real streams, and it actually lets us know where we can target our music to, where to run the Facebook ads, where to run the campaigns at, which countries that we need to be signing up for other outside performing rights organizations to go collect your royalties from overseas, because there's ASCAP and BMI do not go overseas. There's a whole nother one that you have to go through. And so it's my favorite album because they did it. Like they picked the tracks out. They sending me, and it's fire. They're sending it to, and it's done better than any project that we've ever put out on any level, whether it's mine, solo, group, my son's, his solo projects, which do very well. Like for Block Boy Media as a new company, 2024, they're coming out firing. Everything's hitting off top. Pow, 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 pow. And so my whole run with this was saying, hey, whatever cachet I've built up around here, whatever juice I have left per se, I want to spread this out and help, because that's what I've been doing the whole entire time anyways, help building careers, A&R and projects. Actually, we have a label where there's 7-8 guys on it, and everybody actually puts out records. Not a label where there's a bunch of people, but there's only one guy who ever puts an album out. You're like, what I mean? So,
speaking of this Mob album, what can you tell me specifically about Good High with Smooth G and then Count Racks with T-Baby?
Good High with Smooth G. Heard the record. He had the sauce on. I said, I know exactly who could be on there. I hear his voice on the record. I reached out to him, said, hey man, I got this record. What you think about it?
That guy is super polished, ain't he, man?
Man, he's cold. And he always has been, you know what I mean? And I've always respected his music and respected him as a person and as a man, because he's a good guy. I didn't set in different environments with Smooth, you know what I'm saying? Out inside the world, outside, you know what I mean? It's, you know what I mean? So that matters when you see someone solid, when life is actually throwing blows to you. You incarcerated and you know guys are still solid. That matters. So when it comes to that, I only work with people that are solid. I don't, no disrespect or nothing, but if you told, I'm not doing records with you. You know what I'm saying? If you got smut on your name and you out here foul guy and you doing all that, I'm not doing records with you. Even though I'm not an active street guy no more, I still abide by the rules and laws and the codes that I was taught. So I have integrity about anything that I do and who I work with. And which is why, it's very seldom that I go outside the camp. We don't let people in. We're very close knit. But with Good High, I understood what that meant to have, because you got to be the change you want to see. You know what I'm saying? But like, even if there's neighborhoods or guys who didn't always see eye to eye, it's never been like that between me and him. It's always been love. It's always been respect. So it matters to be the change that you want to see, to show the guys that you could be from this side, you could be from over here. Even, your homeboys may not like my homeboys may not like your homeboys, but guys that don't even like us is liking that record. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, they put it together. You know what I mean? And shout out to Smooth. He came through, and Young Smooth did the video on the love, and been getting amazing response for that record. And then for Count Rex, funny story about that record. My granddaughter, we were doing beat selection, listening to the beats, and my son's playing the beats, and my granddaughter, Baby Dad, she just started, she all of maybe 15, 16 months old. She's just a little thing. And she bopping around and dancing to it. And I said, look, the baby going crazy. Yeah. And, and the baby's got, 4 chord progressions will make them move and dance and bop. But baby, it'll let you know if your beat's banging or if it's not. If they get to moving and dancing, it's like, oh, okay. So we turned it off and she stopped. We play another song. Nah, this ain't it. We go back to that. dun 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 dun. As soon as the intro come in, she
Hello.
go, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna use it. Like you just pick this record, and we just go blaze the record super fast, and then we got this thing where not necessarily where we're competing with each other, but we want to not waste time in the studio. So we'll spend time working in pre-production, and then we'll get in on the mic, and you might want to take that thing because, and that was one of those records where you went in and boom, and then my son came in and put the sauce on it, and then we did the video on some humbug. It was snowing outside, and my son, the little baby who used to watch you with the camera and doing all that, well, he's 11 now, and he runs around with the camera and does all that now. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And he edits and he does it like he's a wizard. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, he's a wizard.
Future right there.
Yes. And the company is the Block Boy Media company is ran by all 5 of my sons. That like it's not something that I said, hey, y'all should start a company. This is something they did as brothers. They said, hey, yo, Dad, this is what we want to do. And I'm like, they're like, yo, is there a way you could plug us, piggyback off your distributor or whatever, so we can get some of the marketing dollars that they put up for y'all? And I said, yeah, we could do that. And so that's their whole thing. And so it's like when he put his T-Baby put his albums out and they did well, and he's like, yo, I want to do this. And so it was a whole creative process with just me and my sons. Even my sons that don't do hip hop. I got a son that play rock music, you know what I'm saying? And he's still involved. He's still there. He's still sitting in. I got a son who don't rap at all. He don't, but he just there on some, the quiet one off in the corner like, yeah, I'm here too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it will always be my favorite project. If I never do another record today, you know what I mean? That there's nothing that could top that feeling of doing it with my entire family like that. So that whole album, Mob, the men of Block Boy, you know what I'm saying? The members of Block Boy, however you want to title it, not no we a mafia, you know what I'm saying? It's Mob, you know what I'm saying? You know what it is. And it's doing numbers, y'all, and it's doing really, really well. And we're trying to shoot videos to. You remember when I said, hey, we want to do an album, and try to shoot a video to every single thing to where, because it's like a movie. The album even tells a story even through the track listing. It's very cinematic. It's my favorite album by far, all time. And I did 1,000 songs. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, it's my favorite album.
That's fire.
Y'all watch out for Mob too.
Ooh, they already pressured. They pressing for it. You gotta watch out for Still Here. That's what's coming. Still Here. Yeah, it's coming. That's coming.
You've been around for 5 eras of hip hop.
Damn.
Could you speak about just how it is to just alone from how to make music to how music is this, today compared to when you started?
Yeah, 5 different eras. Boom bop, breakbeat era. You know what I mean? Hip hop in its infancy. Dougie Fresh, Rakim, NWA, Run DMC. I grew up in church, wasn't really allowed to listen to those things, but my brother, even with my mom being a DJ, she would make us listen to 60s soul and Motown and the Jacksons and all that. So my brother started sneaking them hip hop records in and playing them while mom was at work. And mom come home one day, and I'm in there playing that NWA, gangsta, cause I'm the type of nigga that's built to last. You fuck with me, I'll put my foot in your ass. Yeah, I got a foot put in my ass that day about that record, you know what I mean? So, but I was immersed in it. I was infatuated. I loved it, and I love New Jack Swing and Teddy Riley and all that. I thought Teddy Riley was the dopest guy ever. Like, yo, he does everything, because my mom was one of those people who would teach me about reading the linear notes and read the album covers. She worked at a radio station, so she's meeting these artists, KSO Radio. My mom worked there for years, and she's bringing all this stuff home. And so I'm listening not just only to black music, but I'm listening to rock music as well. I'm listening to pop music. I'm listening to New Jack Swing, and so I understood it. But hip hop was where it was at. And in the '90s, the West Coast had it, and super down south, and I was West Coast out like everybody during that, and then I was crazy about NWA and Dr. Dre and DOC and Above the Law and Silly Seal, Sick With It Records, and you know what I mean. I listened, I played the Click and Be Legit and D Shot and all that. Too Short, Crate, man, fanned out when it was time to open up for Too Short. Brother Lynch, had about 4 zones. You're dirty on him, you know what I'm saying? Take him all the way down, taking all the way down south, man. Master P, No Limit, rap a lot, but I also studied the independence of those people. Not only, you know what I'm saying, I liked it, the music, but I liked it that Easy, you know, came up from hustling. I thought I was gonna be like Eazy-E and build a Ruthless Records. I really did. I seen Suge and them do all that. I'm like, man, I wanna do that. I seen E40. I seen the Master P way, the rap a lot, Jay Prince. I'm like, man, I want to do that. And I spent a lot of time doing a lot of things in the streets to finance that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I used to spend my money on. Like everybody else running around buying this and that. And I bought nice stuff too. But I spent my money doing that. Like for years. Like doing GoFundMe on guys' dreams, and a lot of that, I felt a lot of that did good because it kept some people. Those nights that we were working and in the studio and doing things, they weren't in the streets, they weren't doing things, they weren't in trouble. So the 90s era was wild, and then in the 2000s to see the shift in technology to where, you know, things. I said it a long time ago when Sirius radio started. I said, man, this is how they're gonna end up making us pay for music. It's just gonna be like cable TV. They already doing it with the radio. If they can make you pay for the radio like this, you're gonna end up. I seen what they was doing, trying to physically get the music out the way, and with Napster and downloading and all that. We got caught up in the sauce with that because we come from the era where you had to print physical CDs, merch, wasn't no Spotify, wasn't no internet, wasn't no none of that. You got to actually go touch the people. And it's getting back to that, and that's good because the actual physical, the labels actually see that streaming can be manipulated and they ain't really getting their bread off it. That physical merch is where you're seeing a lot of it return back to that. That's why vinyls are coming back, CDs coming back. They'll fuck around and bring the tape back. Yeah, the A-track and the Betamax might come back. You know what I mean? Just for nostalgia's sake. But we got caught up in that in the 2000s, and music shifted, you know what I mean? Because in the boom bap era was a lot of empowerment, a lot of positivity. Then it got commercialized with the gangster rap, and the violence got marketed. And then we go into the next era where it's drug-induced, fueled music to use music to socially program people, things of that nature.
Went from the dope man to the junkie.
There you go. And now we're in the era where let's ruin the women. You know what I mean? So that way, because if you have the women in a negative space, a lot of times women are some of our strongest members of the community. It might be a woman who's running that whole house. I was raised by all women. You know what I'm saying? My step-pops stayed in my life till I was a teenager and started getting in so much trouble. He was like, hey, if that's the route you're gonna choose, I'm not gonna watch you destroy your life. And I was like, well, shit, see you later. You know what I mean? So, but women, so if you can destroy the woman, you can take down the home, you can destroy the home, you can socially program these kids, engineer them, get them on the school to prison pipeline, and you have a system that systematically just keeps socioeconomic thresholds thumbed down on somebody to where it's hard for them to advance. You keep them economically depressed, you keep them uneducated, you keep them high on drugs, you turn the men against the women, you have the women against the men, the women want to be with the women, you can't procreate doing that. There you go, you just then shut down the whole population.
Do you think there's an agenda in hip-hop to portray women as sexually?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Hypersexualize the women.
Where's the Queen Latifah out right now? Where's the women's empowerment? Now women's empowerment is use your sexuality to finesse a man.
What do you say to those that say that's not new though?
It isn't. They're right. It isn't new. There's always been that one, but you gotta be able to compare and contrast. You know what I'm saying? Like back then, and I come from a different era, but even being able to adapt and see how it's going and where it came from. Yeah. I get it. I know why. And plus, that sells. You know what I mean? Like it's dollars in that. That's sexualizing a whole generation. And the youngsters is all with it too. You know what I mean? But do they really buy the music? You know what I mean? Do they really go buy the music? You know what I'm saying? Do they really go sell out them tours? Do you know what I mean? How does that work? sometimes those, I don't know if Super Miss Ratchet really want to spend that $50 for that ticket. You know what I'm saying? And Buddy might not want to finance that. Well, I'm not finna pay for you to go see that shit. I would. Yeah. If that's what she'd like to go see, give her the money. Go on.
I know Cardi B, she's selling out on tour, breaking records. First female to sell out.
Yeah, for sure. But you see, you got guys in there going crazy to watch her. You know what I'm saying? They in there with big signs just like the ladies. You know what I mean? And that's also not just our community. At this point, Cardi B's a pop artist. Yeah. She should be selling it out. You know what I mean? She's not just a... You know what I mean? She's a Latin artist and a hip hop artist. Yeah. She's all the way. You know what I mean? And she cold. So shit, I know that right.
Do you think what kind of differences do you think like the Sexy Red audience and the Cardi B audience have? Like
the money.
Yeah.
Sexy Red artist audience might not have the same type of money as the Cardi. You know what I mean? Like they both probably listen to the ones, but the ones who got that super tight bread, if they got a pick to go pay to see Cardi or Sexy Red,
no doubt.
Sexy Red probably should be opening up for Cardi if she want to be seen by them same audiences.
That's real.
Definitely. So, reflecting on that locally, do you think you've seen similar progression?
Oh yeah, they're making noise, man. Especially the younger generation, the next guy, man, I see y'all everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Respect.
Like taking it, because you got to think bigger than just being locally. You know what I mean? You got to take it to the next level. You see, I always ran it and thought of it as like sports, like districtly. You know what I mean? First you lock down city, then you go to state, then you go regional, then you go national. You know what I mean? So that's the natural process. Sometimes people just want to skip. You want to skip the process. You want to go from here to there. You don't want to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to go from 1 to 5, and it doesn't work that way. I definitely see that there's more unity now. You know, you got guys supporting one another. A lot of times, you know, rap guys come to the show and they'll stay for their set and then they'll just leave. You know what I mean? They don't stay. They don't stay to support. They don't. You know, we was never like that. You know what I'm saying? It was always about being there to support. I'm not above telling a man, hey, I'm a fan of what you do. I like your music. I like what you do. And at the same time, I'm also one of them guys that if you send me the record and it's not really where I'm at, it doesn't mean I'm being disrespectful if I say, bro, it's not for me. You know, you got something else for me. You know what I'm saying? It's because I believe as an artist, for me to be true to who I am and give you the best record that I can, I actually have to enjoy what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, but I definitely see the support now, and that's important. You gotta. I think we all need to do like a 515 day where everybody come together and we all we agree to say, hey man, we're gonna be here to support one another because that's how you build a scene. But a lot of times you got guys who stand around in the back of the corner. You know, he too tough for his own good, or he might be wanting to be this spot or that spot. Everybody, I want to be the first to do this. You can't be the first to do none of that because it's already been done. All you can ever do is expand on the legacy that has already been built, the foundation that has been built for you. You know what I mean? So I always believe that it's better to organize as a community, even as a hip hop community. You have to do that. You can't have that division within it and think that it's going to elevate. And I think a lot of times there's people who may have made it to certain plateaus or certain heights that our city feel did not reach back and bring up with them. And nobody's obligated to do that. You gotta want to do that, and everybody just doesn't want to do that. You know what I mean? But if you want to do that, you could be, if you the guy who gets to the next level, you could do that and just make sure you do reach back and take some people with you. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta come reach back for everybody. You know what I mean? But that matters. So when you see that support, when you see that love within the community, it helps further what you're trying to do as a community, as a unit, as a hip. You know what I mean? There's more shows going on now. There's more opening acts. There's more concerts coming here. Like I said, I see y'all nationwide going here, there,
Respect.
actually putting on for the city. That matters. You know what I mean? That really matters.
Thank you. So this is a different question. Okay, you're gonna be a head coach. Okay, and we're gonna treat rap like basketball. You get a starting 5. All-time Des Moines artists, rappers, you know what I'm saying? If you a coach, who would be your starting 5?
Starting 5. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna go get Tuli. I'm gonna go get Koki.
Shout out Koki.
I'm gonna go get Koki.
Cocaine.
Yes, I'm gonna go get Koki. I'm gonna go get Smooth.
Jilla.
You know what I mean? And it's gonna sound biased because I'm coming from my era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna go get those three. I'm gonna go get Loose Cannon, and Cannon been tucked away. Cannon just came home. Shout out to Cannon. Cannon just came home from doing a hot dub. Cannon Code. I'm gonna go get Cannon. And on the fifth spot, man, I'm coaching, right?
You the coach, man.
No player coach. Well, come on, Smitty. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring Smitty, man, and I'm gonna line up. I'm gonna line up with that era right there against 55 and up, 25 and up,
Hell
whatever.
yeah.
That I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna go right there. You know what I mean?
That's deadly, man.
Yeah, that'll be my five. Now on my bench, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna still call some guys in. You know, we're gonna have Wes and them coming in, and we're gonna have some. You know what I mean? Definitely gonna have the 6 men coming in because them guys are old and we gonna need a break. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man. Okay.
But I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm gonna probably try to sub myself in, and if I can't get in the game, then T-Baby gonna have to interim coach for a little bit because I gotta get in there. You know, I'm definitely bringing the camp though with it every time.
And then who would you say from Des Moines are some of your influences? You know what I'm saying? Monumental artists from Des Moines that, you know, had some influence on you as an artist. And
Brothers Incorporated, Corey D, my brother Marco, Big Crook. He's definitely been an influence. DJ Frage from the Smoky Basement. Even Kaiser.
Shout out fucking Kaiser.
Because Kaiser was hyper competitive. Kaiser would just hop out. And Thule. I had to learn how to rap fast because of these guys. You know what I mean? Because back when Bone and the double time and all that hits, yo, they'll hop out on you because it would be on site. Yo, you know what I mean? I was like, man, ain't no way he freestyling this shit. He said like, yeah, I can't even rap this fast freestyling. Like I had to go learn how to do that shit, man. Like, so yeah, they influenced me on that. You know what I'm saying? And they've always showed mad love, man. Like I said, I don't. Even for the guys in the city or around who dislike me musically or whatever, they don't say it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's always love when I go places, and so I always enjoy that. I'm a fan of what y'all do. I'm influenced by watching what y'all do now. Y'all done got me come up out my shell and sit down and talk. I don't, you know what I mean? I'm very private. I don't sit down and do interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, I send somebody to talk, like, yeah, T said, he said, what's up? You know what I mean? But, and I'm just very, very appreciative of being able to see the city take that step, take that next elevation, go there. You know what I mean? It's like these guys is actually making moves. These guys is actually building a fan base, merch, working together, actually not going to the club. Like the hip hop shows actually do numbers now. You know what I mean? Guys are actually there supporting. Guys are actually, you know what I mean? And what I would say is what I would like to see more of is being there to support them even when your time spot is up, when you done repping. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times guys come in there and, you know, he too tough for his own good. He's standing around in the corner and mugging and mad. You know, Shorty might like the song. She can't come up and dance to it because he back here mad. He go up, do his 7 minutes, and then he leave. You know what I mean? Be there to support. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, why'd you come? You know what I'm saying? Come support everybody. You know what I mean? And even if you don't necessarily like the music, you can still stay in the building and actually enjoy the evening. You know what I mean? Hopefully we can change that coming up though here pretty quick.
So, where we find you, man? Where are your links?
Ooh, at Block Boy Records on IG. Like I said, I'm super private, so you won't find me very many places, but there. Block Boy Media, you can always reach out to there. You know, my sons and them handle everything musically. I'm transitioning more often to positive things in the community. Not saying music's not positive, but as I'm getting older, I'm working on building my foundation, building my nonprofit, giving back to my community, steady doing the shoe drive, steady doing the school supply stuff, steady doing the haircut, handout, all that good stuff. So we moving in that direction. So I'm all 26, all 27. I'm gearing up, moving, trying to make sure that the movement's right in every area, within the community, within the music, within the art scene, business-wise. So you can find me anywhere that is Block Boy related. At Block Boy Records, at Block Boy Media, at Block Boy T, baby. Go on tapping with the guys. Mob, out right now. All platforms. Tapped in with GFG TV Season 8. It's an honor and a pleasure to be the first guest on this one. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Respect.
Thank you for your time.